Hi, hey, this is going to be the recording for the Europe meeting. We just had the Europe meeting, but I pushed pause on the recording button and didn't turn it back on when we started. So I'm just going to try and give a recap so that if you are watching the recording or in the meeting, you'll get the information as well. Really, we went over this page. That was the attachment in the October newsletter. So hopefully all the information you need is on this. And if after this you have any questions, please text or email me and I'll answer any specific questions that you have. Number one question is, are we going? We hope so, but now I can't say. After last year when I assured everybody in the fall of 2000 that of course we'll be going, it's a year out. Now I don't know. I don't know if that will be the case. We're just in a wait and see. But what we can't do is wait to make the plans. So we do have to go ahead with the planning as if we're going, and then if it gets to a point that obviously it's not going to work, we will have to cancel. We will not move ahead with anything financially that cannot be fully refunded. So any deposits that we need to make for lodging, or especially the airfare, we will make sure that it's fully refundable, so that we do not get stuck. We won't commit any funding to anything that we cannot get back. We will set a go or no-go date. If in the early spring we see that things are still a little iffy, we'll set a date, probably like around April 15th. That would be a 90 days out date that we will make a decision, because within that 90 days, we don't want to, that's when things start becoming non-refundable as it gets closer to those dates. So the big date that we need from you to decide is that November 15th date. We need a yes and a deposit and the commitment form by November 15th, because that gives us our number for the group. And without a solid number, we can't do anything specifically in planning. We can get estimates, but no one will give us an actual quote until we have a number. So right now we're going off estimates in our cost. That was question number one. Number two are the dates. The dates have been set because the festival dates are posted. Sometimes they don't post their dates until December, but they are posted right now, which is helpful. We can see exactly when the Prague Festival is, and the Budapest Festival is exactly the weekend after Prague. That makes it very doable to add Budapest. It adds 3 days to our whole trip. So we are exactly 3 weeks. We've never gone that long before. Close, but not quite that long. So 3 full weeks will be the trip. And the dates are there, July 14th to August 7th. I don't know. I don't have my calendar, but that's what I typed. We spend, the first 2 weeks are on the continent, and then we spend 1 week in the United Kingdom. The cost right now is, of course, an estimate. It's a range of a cost. And someone said, why is it so expensive? And it is expensive. It is a lot of money. But I hope, I don't know if you've explored cost at all. I hope if you've ever looked at costs for a comparable trip, you'll see that this is much, much less, maybe a couple $1,000s less than doing this through a travel group or other type of educational groups. We plan it all ourselves. We do all the arrangements. And I'm not a professional travel planner. I've done it a lot. And so that's helpful, but we do it that way to keep it as inexpensive as we can. The cost will include, we call it the director's fee or coach's fee. We'll pay for our coach's expenses and for my expenses to go. So that will be added in. And that's usually around $150 a person. It just depends how big the group is. And I just want to tell you that up front, that will be part of the cost, to pay for the coach and to pay for my trip to go over there as well. Right now the airfare is very expensive, and I worry that if the airfare doesn't come down, it might be cost prohibitive. That will be a decision that we have to make. You are welcome to start looking for airfare if you have Sky Miles, or you are you're part of a discount emailing group, the Flights from Home or the Vacays thing, Scott's Cheap Flights. There are a lot of services right now that scan for cheap flights. You would just need to be in Prague the day that we arrive, and you can go earlier than that, but we don't want you to come later than the day we arrive in Prague. And then leaving London to Salt Lake, you can leave that day or you can leave later. You can stay an extra 2 days in London. You can go over to Stonehenge or to Wales or take a train to Scotland and back. So the leaving date is not as crucial as the arrival date. We need you to arrive the day that we arrive. Or, you can arrive earlier, but at least meet us in Prague on the day that we arrive. Right now, I'll just tell you a range that you want to look at. Anything under 1,500 right now is a good price on that flight. And that's more than it's been before. We would like to find flights around 11 to 1,200. And I don't know if we will. We'll see. The internet specials, those low flights that airfares that pop up, they can't accommodate a whole group. So I hope you don't get mad and say, well, we found flights for, 1,200. And you can find those flights, but not for a group of 80 to 100 people. There are not that many seats allocated to that ticket cost on a flight. So if you're comfortable doing it, really, we encourage you to go ahead and look for those flights. Be careful of not getting locked into buying tickets that aren't refundable, because we don't know. We had a family that found some awesome flight deals last time and bought them, but they weren't refundable. So they've had that travel credit and they're used them to go to Hawaii and this week actually. So maybe it's not all bad, but I don't want you to buy flights and then we cancel and you can't get your money back and you're mad at me. I don't want to be the cause of that. I just do want to encourage you to find good rates on those flights. We will do some intercontinental flights, and those, don't look for your own at this point. There are a lot of very cheap airlines within Europe, but we can't do those as a group. Like there's an EasyJet. It's kind of like Spirit Airways here. There's a Ryanair, and you can get flights for $30, from Budapest to Paris for $30. But it doesn't include bags or carry-on or seat assignments and, everything. It's one of those that all the fees add up to be more expensive, and their schedules are not always reliable. Their schedules may change. So you can't book now for next summer and think that the schedule will probably be the same. It'll probably change, and then we wouldn't be together as a group. So on those intercontinental flights, we usually fly Lufthansa or Air France, and we'll try and get our whole group on either one flight, or we probably usually have to split into two groups sometimes for those flights. We're just too big for some of those flights. So we'll work on those. And then if we see that it might be possible for you to book your own on those, we'll let you know. But for now, just look at the multi-city, Salt Lake to Prague, and then London to Salt Lake, the in and the out on the bookends of our trip, if you'd like to look for your own. Okay, the cost, a big chunk of the cost is the airfare. And then everything besides airfare is dependent on the exchange rate, the euro to the dollar and the British pound to the dollar, what those rates are, because all of our costs outside of airfare is all in those currencies. So we'll be negotiating with the lodging in euros or in pounds, and then we just have to translate that according to what the exchange rate is to determine the dollar amount for that. Right now it's fairly low. It's going up. So cross your fingers that it doesn't go up too much. It's about $1.30 right now for the pound. Last time we went, it was $1.20, which doesn't seem to make a big difference until you times it by, $500 or $700. And then it really does add up. It can make several $100s worth of difference with the exchange rate going up or down. Included in the cost, the hotels will all include breakfast. So all breakfast will be included. And the days that we are at the festival sites are 3 nights in Prague and 3 nights in Budapest. Those will have dinner meals included. They include a breakfast and a dinner at those places. And then we'll have one other dinner together in Munich. Someone else, was a giant beer hall. And yeah, it's like not really a giant beer hall, but a big place called the Ratskeller. And we'll eat there one meal all together. A super fun night. Other than that, all the dinners are on your own and lunches are on your own. So that can vary widely depending what you're going to eat. If you're going to go in and eat at a sit-down restaurant, it's going to be twice as much as fast food. We encourage the kids, the dancers, to try local cuisine and not just do the fast foods. Fast food will be more expensive than it is here. I mean, think like Disneyland rate for fast food. So a single person eating at McDonald's, probably $10 for, their meal thing, and can go up from that depending what they get, but count on about $10 at least for a fast food meal, 10 to 15. And then restaurants, just vary. $20 a person would probably be a good average, 15 to 20 for a meal. There are McDonald's everywhere in the world. Everywhere we will be, there will be McDonald's, there'll be Burger King, KFC is worldwide. Subway, for whatever reason, it's not unique to Rexburg that we are overloaded with Subways, but Subways are everywhere in the world too. And other places, Pizza Hut, there's a lot of Pizza Hut too. So we like to say, try local, try fish and chips, try goulash, try pasties, try things that you don't even know what the name of it is. And then, if you're too starving, like, I had a child that only ate McDonald's one trip, so it's okay. Eat what you want. Local pizza is a lot different than pizza here too. So get pizza, but don't get Pizza Hut pizza. Try local pizza too. So add up those, it's a lot of days for food. So food is a major expense that is not listed in our costs. So don't fail to add that in when you're looking at the cost of things. The itinerary, I'm not going to go over it. We're going into Prague. We'll do the Prague Festival, and then we'll travel by charter bus to Munich and do a few days in the Munich area. That's when we go see the Sleeping Beauty Castle. And it's also when we go to the concentration camp at Dachau. That can be, it's sobering and can be life-changing. It changed my life as a college student. And now I'm like, everyone I can give the opportunity to go experience that, I want to take our dancers and parents to have that experience. Makes it very real. Makes it real. We do that in Munich. Same day we go to the BMW factory. So we go from that to the fantasy world of BMW. Then, since we're adding Budapest, we will drive through Vienna, through Salzburg, or drive through Austria. We'll go to Salzburg, stay in Vienna, and probably day trip or travel through Bratislava, Slovakia. I think that's cool. We'll just spend a little bit of time there. It was formerly the capital. It was formerly the capital of the European Empire when it was kind of all one, that Central European Empire. That was the capital of it. So we'll go through there on our way to Budapest, or Budapest, as someone said on the meeting. We'll do the Festival of Budapest, and then we will fly to Paris. We'll do our days in Paris, just hitting highlights again, and then we'll fly to England. We do Manchester, England. We will either stay there or we'll stay in Preston, depending on availability. We'll do a church history tour in Preston. I can't say enough about this tour. For a lot of people, that is the highlight. The absolute highlight of the trip is the Preston tour. We have a church history guide there. His name is Peter Fagg, and he's phenomenal. You'll wish that you could have him as a personal tour guide for all things England, but especially church history. He's makes you very grateful for those English saints. And then we will do our last several days in London, hitting the highlights in London as well. There's something in my mind, I can't remember. Oh, I want to go back and talk about the festival performances. It's a little different this time in that historically, all the festivals that we've attended or participated in have always been a Friday and Saturday performance. This year, the festivals are a Saturday evening and a Sunday evening performance. Sean and I have talked about this quite a bit. We've just really had a policy with IBA that we've never done performances on Sundays before. We've traveled on Sundays, but we've never performed. And we talked about, we feel like in today's climate and counsel that we're getting of sharing what we have with the world, becoming partners with the world and sharing our message, that we feel okay to have our dancers participate in the festival on Sunday. So I just want to let you know up front, if you haven't put those dates on calendars, that there will be a festival performance on Sunday, and it's up to you to decide if you feel comfortable with that for your dancer or not. And there's absolutely no judgment. We just want to let you know we've decided that we will do that this year. When we arrived here at Ricks College and the folk dance team went out to do festivals every summer in Europe, they always performed on Sundays. And that was back, in the 90s. I think they're doing it 70s, 80s, and 90s. And it was just kind of a missionary experience to go out and do that. And we hope maybe it can kind of be like that. And we're comfortable. We feel very settled doing that. We feel good about it. But that if that needs to be part of your discussion and decision making, I just wanted to let you know about that. So you didn't feel ambushed finding out about it later after you had committed and you didn't know that that was part of the schedule. Other than that, we will try on our Sundays that we are there, we will try and meet with the local congregations for church services of some kind. We don't know in Prague if that will be an option. The Prague church is very small. And when we attended it, there were maybe 40 people in their church meetings. And we thought if we bring 80 to 100 people, it just won't work. So we'll work with the local leaders there. We'll communicate with them, counsel with them, and see what the options are. Hungary had in Budapest, there's an English speaking ward that they will try to attend, make arrangements there. And then in England and London, there's obviously a big ward. There's actually a ward designated as the visitor ward near Hyde Park. So we'll go to that visitor ward. We let them know we're coming so they can be prepared. And it's a great experience, I think, to meet with these congregations around the world in Europe. If you prefer not to go to church services, that's okay. I hope you don't think I'm saying everyone has to go, but that's what the group will be doing. And if you are there, if adults are there with dancers, you're welcome to choose something else to do. Any dancers who are there not with parents will come with the group and what we're doing. In all of the places where we are, the cities will have kind of different guidelines in each city of what the dancers are allowed to do with or without adults. In some cities, they will be allowed to go from the hotel to, get something to eat just in the local surrounding area. In other cities, they wouldn't be able to go out without an adult. We don't ever let dancers go anywhere in a group of less than 5, and never just girls. There always has to be boys in that group of at least 5. They're usually in bigger groups than that. They kind of go around in a mob, but that will be our guideline of groups of 5 and always a boy in the group with them. The payment schedule, going back to the cost, we'll do that. That November 15th deadline is a $500 deposit per person. That's the start to. We need to do a airline deposit as soon as we can after that date to secure airfare. And then we'll just split it up every 2 months into as equal payments as we can. And the very last payment will be, if it's a little more than what that exact payment amount is, we'll just make up that last payment will, fills in like it's a little over, a little under. That will be adjusted by that. Questions on the back, we're talking about the age group. Is for current 9th through 12th graders to go. We have had 8th graders go in the past. So if it's something that you have a dancer going and you have an 8th grade younger sibling, yeah, we can talk about that and see if it'd be fine. We've done a few 8th graders, not a lot, but and always a younger sibling that wanted to go along. Never an 8th grader that doesn't have, an older sibling going, so they can wait to the next time to go with their family. Parents, yes, parents and family members we love having family members come so that you can have that shared experience, those shared memories together, that when you talk about the trip, you were there together, and it's a great thing. If it's not financially feasible to be able to go, we understand this is a lot of money. This is a big chunk of change for this. And so if it doesn't work for parents to go, dancers are very welcome to come on their own, and they'll have a great experience there. And we really try and take care of the dancers without parents there. We assign them to other parents, as we call them, their foster kids. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. No dancers are assigned to me because I'm in charge of the whole group, but we will assign to specific parents, someone that they always, know where they are and they check in and out with. We did the trip, we did the cost, included in the cost, passports. If you don't have a passport, be applying for that. At least by the beginning of the year, they are coming fairly quickly right now. We hear, they could come in a month or less. But if you are thinking about going, I think it's just smarter to get it sooner rather than later. And you'll just need to see on your child's age, if you're getting a child passport, if they're younger than 16, or an adult passport, which lasts for 10 years. And if you're not sure where to do passports, you can ask me that. I can direct you to where. There are a lot of online places, but just don't go online and click a place, because a lot of them are companies that are making money from you applying for your passport, doing what you could do yourself and save money. You don't need to pay, you do not need to pay any company to do it for you because it's so doable yourself. Yeah, and there's a passport site that is the official government passport site that doesn't have a third party involved. And that's the one I'll direct you to. In fact, I'll just send out that link with this Zoom recording link. So you know the direct link to the government passport office. Meals are talked about. Meals, hotel assignments, it just depends. Each hotel we stay in has a different configuration in their rooms. For example, in Paris, they're all just twos, just two people to a room. That's all they have in their whole hotel. So, you know, if you're a party of four, we'd give you 2 rooms and you put 2 in each. If you're an odd number, we would figure it out. Like maybe one of your dancers then would stay with other dancers in the hotel. If you, a mom and dad are going and you just always want to stay in your own room and have your dancer stay with other dancers, that works too. The only one that doesn't have flexibility is if it's a dad and a daughter, then we don't have other dads put a dad with. We can group up moms, but dads, there are just very few dads that aren't going to stay with the dancer. So a dad-daughter combo, they just always stay in a room together. Some hotels have big dormitory type rooms, like 6 to 8 dancers we can put in a room. A lot of hotels have triples and quads. So it just depends on the hotel, and we'll try and each hotel will have its own rooming list that we work out to fit the rooms of that actual hotel. And we will, you know, you will let us know how you want to stay. If you parents always want to, and their dancers stay always together, that's great. If you want to not have it that way, we'll figure it all out. Okay, I think that's it. I'm trying to, was there anything else that came up in the actual meeting, not this just recorded meeting? I think that's it. If I think of anything else, I'll just PS it in the follow-up email. But I hope that gives you kind of a background, kind of a structure for what the trip is about. I think it's not a life-changing trip, but a life-enhancing trip. I think it broadens our kids' experience as far as culture and history. London's my favorite. We have such a shared history with England in the founding of our country, and I love being there. I love the kids being able to connect with the iconic images of the world. Then when they see them in movies or TVs, that they can say, I've been there, I've seen that. And they have a personal connection with those things for the rest of their life. I think it's great for kids to learn how to ride public transportation. We don't have it in Rexburg other than the Walmart shuttle. And so to learn how to get on and off a subway and have confidence in that and reading a subway map and knowing where to go in a city, I think those are great skills too. Navigating a big city, being comfortable in those kind of experiences. So those are all the reasons why we go. We hope it's a great trip for everyone. We hope we can go. We hope we can go. Right now, we're just watching the European map. You know, we have those maps. You can click on a country and it tells you what all the restrictions are. And each neighboring country, they have their own set of restrictions. Some have no entry restrictions at all. Some countries, no US citizen can go in right now. Some are, you know, they just have different things, every country. So we'll just keep watching that map and hoping for the best. So everybody cross your fingers, hope that it'll work out for us to go. And send me any questions you have, text me or email me or call me. Happy to answer any questions. Thanks, everybody.